Hello, good evening, everyone. So, welcome to the 5 day orientation session on RPA. This is a orientation session which is conducted by Task and InnoHat Systems together, and I'm very pleased to be part of this. And thank you, Task, for giving us this opportunity to address the students from Telangana in terms of RPA. So, my name is Venkat Aramudan. You guys can refer me as Venkat, and I am the founder and CEO of InnoHat Systems. I come with 3 decades or 30 plus years of experience, all of them in IT. I have worked for various organizations. I have worked for organizations like Wipro. I used to work for Satyam. I used to work for HCL. And before I started my own venture in 2012. InnoHat is a short form for Innovative Hyperautomation Systems. And this session primarily is about hyperautomation systems. And RPA is one of the technology space in the hyperautomation systems. And we are going to see what it is. So the whole presentation is about hyperautomation. So, so just to give a background as to what this session is about, how we are going to go about. What is RPA? RPA is a short form for robotic process automation. It is probably the hottest tech skill in the market today, which people are looking to join, and most of the organizations are looking for certified, talented, trained, certified, experienced consultants in this space. So that is the whole idea by which we and InnoHat Systems and Task have joined together and try to offer this initially as an overview session and an orientation session. Then after, based on the interest, we can have a deep dive session in the RPA with specific colleges. Learning this RPA would benefit you immensely because this is the hottest technology skill right now. And in this presentation, today and tomorrow at least, you're going to see how it's going to benefit. Actually, tomorrow is a session where I have a very detailed presentation about career orientation on RPA. We'll very talk career opportunities on RPA. In that session, you will see what kind of career opportunities are there. Once you have learned this, how long does it take to learn? What are the products that are available? Once you have learned this, what kind of jobs are available? What kind of salaries are available? Who is hiring? And all this kind of stuff. 5 day, this is a 5 day program, but 5 days is definitely not enough. It's just an awareness program. A deep dive RPA course will take anywhere between about 4 months. Typically, it takes about 60 to 80 hours of classroom session. I'm not talking about the practice, the number of hours you require for practicing this, but what you require is at least minimum 60 to 80 hours of classroom session wherein you can definitely get into a certification mode. You can get certified. Once you have taken a 60 to 80 hours of class in this, you can definitely get certified. Once you become certified, you'll be the hottest commodity and hottest one of the hottest consultants available in the market today. But with this, treat this as more as an awareness session, and with this we can go ahead. Many of you people, I mean, almost all of you here would like to pursue your career in IT. But only few of you probably might have a computer science background in this. Many of you might not have a computer science background. Many of you, perhaps, I'm not even sure what colleges have come in, who has registered. I know more than 3,500 to 4,000, close to 4,000 people registered. I don't know how many of you are engineers, how many of you are non-engineers, how many of you have a computer science background, how many have coding background. But I don't care of all these things primarily because RPA is a zero code software. Okay. So, though many of you might be here who want to pursue a career in IT, but you do not like coding or you do not know coding, so don't bother because the RPA, what you're going to see for 5 days, and if you're interested, you can perhaps learn it later also. What you're going to learn is a zero code software. So, this session, if you want to be in IT industry, if you want to pursue a career in IT, but you're not sure, you don't have a computer science background, you do not know coding, don't bother. This is the right place to be in. We can start off with this background. So, let me go with a small, I hope you are able to see the screen. Okay, in this screen what you see is a small table on the top. This table has about 7 columns, it's about 10 rows. What does this signify? This is not a rocket science. This table is just the employee details. So it has the employee's first name, employee's last name, his company, what is his role in the company, what is his address, email ID, phone number, blah blah. So essentially, these are the 7 pieces of information about an employee, each employee, right? Likewise, you have 10 employees. So 7 into 10 is about 70 pieces of data are there on that Excel sheet. Suppose you are given a form which you see in the right hand side, where you have 10 different types for each different record or a row or an employee. You have a different way of capturing that. You have a form or in an application, you have to manually enter those information into those forms. The requirement is very, very simple. You just have to take each of these and you have to do a data entry in the form. So what is the typical time you think it will take? From our experience, if you are doing a manual activity like this, okay, it will actually take something in the range of about 7-8 minutes if you are doing it very, very fast. Okay, or you will do about, at least if you are doing it extreme or in a normal speed, it will take at least 20 minutes, 25 minutes to complete all these 10 rows, which is about 70 pieces of information, which is 7 rows and 10 columns. That is for 10 records. Okay, so this exercise would take about 10 to 15 minutes if it's done manually at a great speed. But if we are slow, it will take about 20 minutes, 25 minutes, 30 minutes. We have done this exercise manually in various colleges. Some of them have taken about 25 minutes, some of them have taken about 30 minutes. But the fastest, I think, you will take about 15 minutes. What if I told you, if you can see a demo, what if I told you, if you have a robot, instead of a human being entering these information, if you have a robot and if that robot did the data entry for you? That is the whole concept. And that is what I am just showing it. You see what, this is not a live demo. Normally, in normal circumstances, I would have shown a live demo of a robot running, taking this information from these 10, from this Excel sheet and just opening these forms and entering those. But now what I am doing, what we have done is, we have done a live demo, but we have recorded that live demo. What we are going to see now is a recorded version or a recorded video of a live demo of a robot capturing all those information and putting it in these forms. Okay, the same information, same forms. Instead of a human being doing that, now a robot does that. When I'm talking about a robot, don't assume or a physical robot coming and picking up the information and putting it. It is a software robot. Unlike a physical robot in industrial systems or in factories and stuff like that, here what we are talking about is a software robot. Your robotic process automation is about a software robot. So this is the demo. On the right hand side, you start seeing the seconds it takes to enter this information. We said manually it will take anywhere between 15 minutes, 20 minutes to 25 minutes to complete this task. But now, let's see how it takes, how much time it takes for a robot did this job. There is some problem with this. It is looping actually. Sorry about this. So there was a problem, it was looping again and again. Actually, it took about 1 minute and 20 seconds. The whole thing, instead of taking about 20 minutes to complete this exercise, the whole video, if you will play this video again, or we'll send that link of this video to all of you, the whole video, if you really look at it, it took about 1 minute and 20 seconds to complete this whole thing. So what we are talking about, what we are saying, if you are doing it manually, it takes 20 minutes, but if you have automated this, it takes just about 1 minute. The idea is not about these 10 records here, my friends. My friends, assume instead of these 10 records, if you had about 1,000 records, how long will it take to manually enter? Suppose you had 1,000 employees and you have to enter these 7 pieces of information about these 1,000 employees in some application. Typically, it would take, on an average, if it takes about 15 minutes for 10 records. Even if you are doing it manually, we are talking about 1.5 minutes per record. If you are taking about 1,000 records, we are taking about 1.5 minutes into 1,000. We are talking about 1,500 minutes of data entry work. Now imagine if you have a situation where you have to do 10,000 records instead of 1,000 records. Now imagine there is a bank. There are about 10,000 employee information which you have to enter into their application. Here we are talking about only 7 pieces of information about an employee. Imagine you have about 20 pieces of information about an employee. His employee's position, his grade, his salary, his branch office details, which branch he works, what is his supervisor's name, what is his manager's name. If you want to put all those things, assume there are about 25 records, 25 pieces of information about an employee, and imagine there are 10,000 employees. That is what is the real life situation in various organizations. And if you try doing that manually for 7 pieces of information, if it takes 1.5 minutes per record, if you are talking about 25 pieces of information per record, imagine it will take about 15 minutes, 10-15 minutes for one record itself. And if you have 10,000 such records which you have to manually enter, one person can't enter, so there is a battalion of people who are sitting and entering those information. You'll have a battery. You'll have about 10 people, 15 people, 20 people, 60 people sitting and doing a data entry work in these kind of banks, okay, or in these kind of any other institution. It need not be a bank. It can be a bank, it can be a logistics company, it can be an insurance company, it can be a healthcare company. Every organization, you will have enough and more people sitting and doing the work like this. This is just a data entry work which I am talking about. There are many other work in this organization which are being done manually. It takes a lot of time. It is error prone. It is very, very expensive. So this RPA is a technology which is there to reduce all those things. Instead of a human being who is sitting and doing a repetitive work, now slowly those human beings are taken out of those kind of work is taken out of human beings, and now they are given it to a robot. What does robot do? Robot does the same work, but it does 10 times faster. It does 50% cheaper. So because of which organizations have started using robotic process automation in various organizations, because of which there is a demand in the market for the people who can develop these kind of applications, and because of which we are here sitting and talking. Because the colleges which you are in, we are talking to those colleges independently, trying to offer RPA, robotic process automation, as part of the curriculum in their colleges and institutions. For that to happen, we just need an overview session just to get sense of what is RPA, what is hyperautomation, what is hyperautomation about the program. I'm talking about interchangeably using the word hyperautomation and RPA. Once you see the presentation in the next few minutes, you will realize RPA is nothing different. RPA is the hyperautomation is a set of technologies, and RPA is only one technology in that. Okay. So we are going to start with the question as to why hyperautomation.
COVID-19 is one of the biggest crises of our time. It has impacted every single one of us, shaken our social systems, and disrupted every sector of our economies. The automation of work, combined with a global recession, led workers to lose their jobs at an accelerated pace compared to previous years. And this trend is expected to continue. The ongoing shift in the division of labor between humans, machines, and algorithms might displace 85 million jobs worldwide in the next 5 years, while 97 million new roles, ones that are more adapted to this new task distribution, may emerge. By 2025, companies expect to displace roughly 6% of their total workforce. 1 in 2 workers will need reskilling, and those remaining in their current roles will need to update 40% of their skill set to adapt to the changing labor market. There is a way to collectively benefit from these challenging times. Decades of research have shown that the most valuable asset of any economy or company is its human capital. Around the globe, companies are already experiencing a shortage in relevant skills for future roles and are investing in reskilling and upskilling their workforce. By 2025, organizations say they will train over 70% of their employees to ensure they can smoothly transition into the jobs of tomorrow. These include DevOps engineers, artificial intelligence specialists, digital marketing managers, talent acquisition specialists, and customer success specialists. It will take on average between 2 weeks and 5 months for workers to pick up new skills, allowing them to move into these new roles. But data shows they won't need to have the perfect skill set to start transitioning. While 2/3 of employers expect to get a return on investment in employees' reskilling programs within just 1 year, governments will also need to step in to update and fund education and training systems, and to ensure displaced workers have adequate safety nets. With purposeful leadership and collaboration, we can turn this global crisis into a unique opportunity to transition into a future of jobs that is inclusive, fair, and sustainable.
So, you saw this video. This 3-minute video is the future of jobs from World Economic Forum. What does this video show? This video very, very clearly says that COVID and automation has actually pushed companies, has completely changed the landscape of how the shift in labor is going to happen. There are very, very interesting things which they say. They are saying nearly 85 million jobs, which is 8.5 crores. 85 million is 8.5 crores. About 8.5 crores in the next 3 years, 8.5 crore jobs in the next 3 years will move from human beings to machines. They are talking about a set of jobs that will move from human beings to machines. And they are saying skilling is the only way, because it is not just the 85 million which will move from human beings to machines, and because of which many of the jobs which are being done by human beings are now going to be taken over by robots. That means what? At the same time, they are talking about there is going to be 97 million new jobs that are going to come. 97 million is 9.7 crores, close to 10 crore new jobs are going to come. What are they talking about? Those new jobs, what they are talking about are the jobs like artificial intelligence, jobs like DevOps, jobs like digital marketing specialists and things like that. What we are talking about is hyper-automation and artificial intelligence are mostly same, because as we go along in this presentation, you will see about what are the set of technologies under the hyper-automation umbrella, and one thing you will see across is all these technologies have an underlying layer of artificial intelligence. So what they are saying is you have to learn new technologies, new skills for you to survive this onslaught, because this is a big disruption World Economic Forum is talking about. If you have to survive this disruption, you have to upskill and reskill. They are talking about 1 in 2, 50% of the organization. Forget about the people who are graduating out like whom you are. Like you are all likely to graduate in next 1 year, 2 year, 3 years, depending on where you are, whichever year you are studying. This is not just applicable to you, the people who are graduating out. This is also applicable for the people who are already working. What they are talking about 50% of those jobs who are already employed. Okay, 50%. Suppose the organization has 1,000 people. Okay, 500 of them have to necessarily reskill, is what they are saying. Suppose an organization like TCS is about 4.5 lakh people, is what they have. Nearly 2.5 lakh of them will have to reskill in the newer areas. Reskill in the areas like artificial intelligence. Reskill in the area just DevOps. Reskill in the areas like RPA. Reskill in the area like machine learning. Reskill in the area like chatbot, natural language processing. All are artificial related technologies. Video analytics. Okay, sentiment analysis. You have to reskill in those areas. Or they are all. You might be wondering what are these names? Where are they coming from? They are all nothing but artificial technologies, artificial intelligence technologies. And one good thing is many of them are zero code software. Okay, you don't have to be a computer programmer in most of them. Some of them you need computer programming language. Many of them today are a zero code software. You can learn the software even if you are not a doesn't have a computer science background. Even if you are coming from an arts and science background, you might be a mechanical engineer, civil engineer, chemical engineer. Still, you can you can get into IT by skilling, reskilling, upskilling, cross skilling in these areas. So quickly, I'll get back to this presentation. I'm talking about what is that video talking about. Video is saying COVID-19 is pushing companies 83% of companies to work remotely. Today, many organizations haven't come back to work at all. They are saying working from home is a possibility, is a very much possible. So it's very much possible. It is working out very very conveniently for us. So though we might have an office in Hyderabad, if you are working from a far off town or a village, no problem. As long as you are connected, you work from home. That is not an issue. So 83% of the population are working remotely. Now some organizations are asking if they can come, but many of them, 8 out of 10 organizations are very very comfortable for people to work from home. In our organization also, there is an option. If you want to work from home, you can work from home. If you want to come to office, you can come to office. Okay. 84% of the organizations or 84% of the companies organizations are accelerating their digitalization program. Okay. More importantly, 50% are accelerating to automate or accelerating their automation journey. That is what we are going to talk. That is what is hyper automation. Okay. So what does this slide talk? Okay, in 2020, okay, if there are 100 jobs, okay, 67 of them were done by humans, 33 of them done by machines. Whereas by 2025, the machine adoption will grow, and the human part of the labor will shrink. Meaning by 20, as we approach closer to 2025, more and more jobs will be taken over by machines, which the human beings are doing. So what is it? Why is it? So why is it important for you? It is important for you is because of this next slide. Okay, this slide again. I repeat, this is something which I told you about a few minutes ago. Nearly 8.5 crores of the routine jobs will get displaced from human beings to machines. What are those jobs? The jobs what you see on the right hand side, decreasing job demand. The jobs like data entry, jobs like administration, secretarial work, accounting, bookkeeping, payroll clerk, auditing, assembly and factory workers, business services. All of these work, if you really look at it, they are all routine, repeatable, not significantly value adding, time consuming, error prone kind of activities, which these are the jobs. If you really take into IT, there are still some low end jobs which people go after completing their engineering, like manual testing and stuff like that. All of these are getting replaced, meaning human beings will no longer do these jobs. Why these jobs? In next 2 to 3 years, jobs like telecalling, your call center agents, all of them will be taken over by human beings to machines. How many people are now chatting with the human being on the other side in various organizations? Every website you go, there is a chatbot which is available. Which is what? Chatbot is a machine on the other side. You are chatting for an information, it is a machine which is giving you the answer. As of now, the interaction between with a machine is only, by and large, is only on a chat. If the bot on the other side or a chat bot on the other side does not have information what you are seeking, what it does, it actually transfers this call to a human being. That is when a human being comes and talks to you. For example, you call up ICICI, you call up Tata Sky, you call up any of these companies, HDFC Bank or something like that. For some, this one, initially you will be greeted by a chatbot. So, if there are some basic activities, you don't even have to reach out to a human being in that particular organization. You can complete the transaction by interacting with a bot or a robot. Bot is nothing but a short form for a robot. You can interact with a robot on the other side using a chat and complete the transaction. But if that bot doesn't have answer beyond certain things, whatever you are asking, then it transfers to a human being. Then you will have one Rahul or Priya or somebody who will come and talk to you, trying to answer certain questions for you. Okay, but what is happening today? Who is that Rahul? Who is that Priya? Who is that Sheila or whoever is a call center agent on the other side who is talking to you? That call center, that person is a call center agent who is talking to you. If you in next 2 to 3 years, you might find a situation where that is also taken over by a machine. You will still be talking to one Rahul, you will be still be talking to one Priya, you will be still talking to one Sheila, but Rahul, Priya, and Sheila might not be human beings at all. It might be a voice bot which is on the other side. Okay, whatever you have seen in Chitti, the robot about 3 years ago, 5 years ago, slowly it will start coming true. So what we are saying, the most of the colleges, most of the people who graduate, okay, will go and land up in organizations which are a KPO, BPO, call centers, or in routine jobs in accounts, audit clerks, and things like that. Unfortunately, if those jobs are going to go away, those organizations are not going to hire you, because if they were hiring 500 people for a particular job, that will come down to 100 people, because 400 people's job would have been taken over by a robot on the other side in the customer premises. So what is the alternative? What they are saying, the World Economic Forum, go to the top. They are talking about a 97 million, which is 9.7 crores. They are saying, though there will be a decrease in job demand in the jobs which I talk to you, there will be an increase in job demand in these things like data analysts, AI and machine learning specialists, big data specialists, process automation specialists. Here, RPA is nothing but a process automation specialist. AI, RPA has a component of AI. RPA for you to do or a low code application. So these are the things which will really be required. Those are the skills which people will go behind. So that is the whole reason why it is very very important for you to upskill yourself or reskill yourself, or you might have a very very unfortunate situation that there is a big employability issue. The people, your seniors who probably went for a BPO or a KPO, within a bank or some back office work, within a S1, or some data entry related work or some testing related work, your seniors must have gone. You must be thinking the same companies will come and hire you year after year, but actually what will happen is the numbers will dwindle down. They might not require the same amount of requirement, because the bot has taken over in their organizations. So there is a very very important need or a critical need for you to upskill. That is what we are trying to do. And what does the World Economic Forum say? That video, it says it's a responsibility of the government to find ways to upskill people, and the upskilling can happen anywhere between 2 weeks to 3 months and things like that. That is what Task is doing now. Okay, Task is Telangana government is through this organization called Task. They are finding opportunities to upskill you. Okay, they are inviting people like us to come and talk to you and give an awareness program about what is RPA can do. After that, depending on that, some Task will facilitate the colleges to integrate this RPA course in those colleges, add this as part of the curriculum, or it can be some elective subject or a certification course or something like that. So, depending on situation, the things might change, but that is what it is. Task is doing. Other states are also doing. National skill development is doing. The world is moving towards that, because people have realized this is the way the world has to go. So now we saw why hyperautomation. Very quickly we'll see what is hyperautomation, and then we'll see about what are we going to learn for next 5 days, and we'll close for the day today. Okay, we have another 30 minutes to go. So we talked about why hyperautomation. The next slide is about what is hyperautomation. One thing is a fundamental aspect in computing today. People are going to work only on data, right? I mean, the computing is nothing but working on the data. So this is going to be more and more prevalent, correct? Data is the most valuable asset for any enterprise. Okay, it has been the same case even for long, but again, people have in the order of priority, they have said machines, real estate, money in the bank are key assets for an organization. And data, probably they said customer is an asset, employee an asset, data is also an asset. They probably put them in seventh or eighth in the pecking order. But organizations are soon realizing that, boss, data is also valuable asset for an enterprise. Just like asset what they have in terms of real estate, asset what they have in terms of people, asset what they have in terms of machinery, asset what they have in terms of customer, the hidden asset what they have is the available data in their organization. If they are able to harness that data, make use of that data extensively, they should be able to significantly work, significantly grow. They can be guarded against their competition. They know what is happening. They know where are the problems in their own organization. They can fine tune that. They know which are the areas where it requires correction, what they have to do to be probably ahead of the competition, where they are losing money, where they are losing customers, in which area their competition is scoring over them. All of them are hidden in various aspects of within their organization. Till very recently, organizations, the data which was stored in their applications or a database was the only data organizations were willing to consider. That data is called the structured data. That is a data. There is no doubt on that. But that data is just only about 15%. Rest 85% of organization data is strewn all over the place. Every single touch point, whether it is a customer touch point or an employee internal touch point, produces so much amount of data. Every email is a data. Every social post about the company, every social post the company is posting, okay, is a data. Every voice call between various people in the organization is data. Every CCTV footage or an image or a video or a photograph in the organization is a data. Okay, let me give a small example. You people must have called up a call center, right? Okay, you must have called an ICICI bank, you must have called a HDFC bank or somebody. Very, you might have before the call happens, there will be a recorded voice which will say that call might be recorded for internal training purposes and stuff like that. Okay, but imagine HDFC has about 100 call center agents. Okay, imagine, and each call center agent probably gets about each call center agent gets something in the range of about 30 to 40 calls a day. So 40 into 100, there are about 4,000 calls a day. Okay, so you have about 4,000 calls a day. Imagine each call goes about 8 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Let's take 10 minutes. So 4,000 calls into 10 minutes. Technically, that day you will have 40,000 minutes of voice call, voice information, voice data, 40,000 minutes. They said that this call might be recorded for training purposes. This call might be recorded for quality purposes and all those kind of stuff. But imagine if you have to improve the quality of the call center agent, if you have to know whether that if there were any issues in a call between a customer and the call center agent, if the customer was happy, if the customer was not happy, did the customer hang up very angrily, all those kind of stuff, the supervisor will have to necessarily listen to all the 40,000 minutes, right? How can he listen to 40,000 minutes of conversation? Okay, in a day, it is you just saw that there is 40,000 minutes of conversation is happening in a day. There might be, even if you have 5 supervisors, they can, if they split amongst themselves, they will have to listen to 8,000 minutes of conversation. That is practically impossible. So what they do, they randomly pick 1 or 2 calls and do a listening of that, and then try to see if there are some, if there is an area where they have to improve. They will do a sampling size, and they'll randomly pick a sample. Now, what is happening? If they had picked 5 calls to hear out of 4,000 calls, the sample is very, very small. Or even if you hear 10 calls out of 4,000 calls, you are not doing any justice to another 3,990 calls. But instead, imagine if there is a voice call that is happening. Okay, automatically, whatever voice call that is happening is automatically converted from voice to text. Okay, and the text is stored automatically, converted, that voice file is converted into an editable file, or the file which a database can understand, and that data is stored in the database, and you are able to analyze, okay, how many calls where the customer was angry, how many calls the customer was by and large okay. And suppose they say that, okay, out of 4,000 calls, there were 40 calls where the customer hung up angrily. Okay, if that report comes and gives you saying that out of 4,000 calls, 40 calls, the customer hung up angrily. Then out of 40 calls, you can pick who are those. If there's a customer is a very, very high profile customer, he's a VIP customer, okay, so he can't be angry, so he can automatically call that person and apologize or find out what is the problem, what is the root cause of the issue. You can try and sort out. The manager can do that, all those kind of stuff. Okay, if he had heard only 10 calls and 3,990 calls were not even, somebody is not even hearing, and if one important call like this was hidden in that and the customer was angry and he hung up angry, there is a very high chance that that customer will come back and say that, okay, I don't want to do business with HDFC anymore, please take back your card, I will go with ICICI Bank. Okay, are you realizing how the voice call is so important? Similarly, CCTV footage. Okay, there are so much of CCTV footage in various places. In a departmental store you are walking. The departmental store, assume the departmental store is a chain which about 200 stores across country. You have a CCTV footage of every aisle of people walking. If you take that footage, you can do analysis as to in which aisle, at what point of time, whether the men came in more, or whether the women folk came in more, whether the children came in more, which counter people were standing and spending more time. So they can do a whole lot of analysis. They can completely change the layout of their departmental store for them to far more successful. I'm just saying, if you don't analyze this, okay, you can still run a business. But if you analyze this and if you did some course correction, you can do the business better. You can do it more profitably. You can cut down losses. You can know what your competition is doing. All those kind of stuff. If you are able to pick the data that is strewn all over the place by the way of email, social post, in videos, in images, in audio file, and you bring them all, convert them into a model, into an area, into a mechanism by which you can take and do a downstream activity. You can take, convert them, analyze, and do a forecasting. You can do a whole lot of things. So now what we are saying, hyper automation now helps you to do the whole thing. Hyper automation helps you to source, secure, transform, and understand all this data which is all over the place. The data might be in email, some pieces of data might be in Excel sheet, some piece of data might be in a database, some piece of data might be in a video camera, CCTV footage in that machine. It might be in different formats. You source them, secure them, make them, and transform them into a way by which you can use them and start understanding that data and taking decisions based on those data. That is what hyperautomation helps. So, what is hyperautomation? Hyperautomation is a set of technologies that assist white collared or knowledge workers by mimicking their four main capabilities to ease their daily work. This is a big statement. It is a set of technologies. So hyperautomation is not one word. Hyperautomation is a set of technologies. Multiple technologies are all under a single umbrella called hyperautomation. So whom do they assist? Hyperautomation assists white collared or knowledge workers. Who is a white collared worker or a knowledge worker? Any employee who sits behind the computer and works day in and day out is a knowledge worker. Okay. Unlike a white collared worker, who are the other people? There are blue collared workers. Who are blue collared workers? The people who are on the who are on working in the farms, in factories, in construction sites, and who are doing the heavy lifting, machinery, and those kind of things. Those people are blue collared workers. The white collar worker or the workers in the sales department, finance department, HR department, payroll department, supply chain, R&D, who are sitting behind the desk and working with the data. Okay, so what it says, it assists white collar workers. How does it assist? By mimicking their four main capabilities. Human being has multiple capabilities. We are talking about four main capabilities of human being. Suppose the machine takes over those capabilities of human being and start doing things faster, better, and cheaper. That is those technologies, set of technologies is called hyperautomation. So let us talk about these four main capabilities of a human being. Let us start with vision. Human being has a ability or a capability to see something, understand what it is. Based on what he has understood, the brain does some takes a decision, and they do a downstream activity. Suddenly he sees this, he will know, oh, okay, it is a mouse, it has to be kept aside next to the computer, and you have to work with that. It you see this, then you will say, oh, okay, this is a visiting card. You probably store it safely somewhere else. You see a piece of paper, then you see, okay, this piece of paper is a resume. Probably you have to give to a HR department. They will have to probably issue an offer letter. Or this piece is a purchase order. You probably give to somebody else. This piece is an invoice or a bill. You give to finance department so that they can pay for that. So vision, so a human being has the ability to see certain things, decipher what he has seen. He can take a downstream activity. He can take further actions based on what he has seen. Okay, suppose if you take out that ability of yours and you give it to a machine, saying that, hey machine, from now on, you start doing this because you will do faster than me. We said that machines can do 10 times faster. Okay, so you can see the document 10 times faster than me. You can see some things which I probably cannot see properly. You can understand that, and then you can take a downstream activity. So if you take that piece of ability and give it to a machine, that is one. Second is language. So as I was just talking about, we hear somebody talking to us. Okay, it can be through email, talking, communicating to us. Okay, that can be through email, can be through chat, can be through phone. Based on the tone, based on the choice of words, based on the phrases, based on the language, we understand that person is happy, that person is sad, that person is angry, that person is completely given up on you. You know all those kind of stuff. Okay, if you give up, so suddenly if you say that, okay, this is a very interesting ability, but again machine, you do it faster than me, you do it cheaper than me, so I'll give up that piece of ability to you. Now if you take over, you do that activities for me, and probably you'll do it better than me. Then you have thinking and learning. We have a brilliant ability to, whenever we encounter a situation, we try to find out, have we encountered this situation before? Okay, if we have encountered this situation, how we have handled that at that point in time. We try to analyze things from different perspectives, and you take some decisions based on that. So now you give off that also to a machine, asking you, please, set of technologies, you take over this aspect also. Start trying to look at the past, try to see if there are some hidden patterns which I don't know. You try to analyze on my behalf. This is the third one. Fourth one is execution. If you are doing the same activity again and again and again and again and again, for example, we talked about a data entry work at the beginning of the presentation. We said that it might take about 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes per document for a data entry. If you start doing that again and again, probably 1.5 minutes can become 1.3 minutes, 1.2 minutes, 1 minute also for that matter. Okay, so if that ability is also given off to a machine. So we are talking about four abilities like vision, execution, language, and thinking and learning. If you have a set of technologies which take these four abilities from a human being and start doing work on behalf of human beings, and start doing it faster, better, and cheaper, that set of technologies is called hyperautomation. So which are those technologies? Okay, which mapping with human abilities? We are talking about vision, which is intelligent OCR. OCR is optical character recognition. So if you have a technology that reads the document, the document might be in PDF, might be in JPG format, might be an image. Somebody might have taken a photo on a mobile and could have scanned it and sent it. But If that is a photo or a scanned image or a PDF, it is an uneditable, useless piece of information. That information, that data, if you're able to scrape it out of that document, take it out of that document and take it into an Excel sheet or a database, you can make use of the data. That becomes a gold mine of data, right? Image and video analytics. I just talked about a CCTV footage. I talked about your biometrics. All those things are your set of technologies, hyperautomation technologies that helps you to automate the activities related to seeing and doing things based on what you have seen. Now, there are set of technologies like intelligent chatbots. I am talking about, see, chatbot is we have heard. What is intelligent chatbot? Similarly, I talked about intelligent OCR. OCR is a technology which has been there for 15 years. What is intelligence? That is where the artificial intelligence come in. Okay, your intelligent chatbot, I just talked about a chatbot. You keep asking questions to a HDFC chatbot or an ICICI chatbot, it will keep answering you till it knows the answer. After that, it gives back to a human being because beyond that, it doesn't know. But what? You have so much of last 15 years, 20 years of recording of all those voice calls, right? Suppose you start taking all those recordings and giving it to it and ask machine to learn from this, okay, and answer as many questions as possible by themselves instead of even transferring to a human being, that is called as machine learning or artificial intelligence. Okay, that is what is called as intelligent chatbot. Your sentiment analysis, speech analytics, all those things are, again, I explained the same thing. If you are able to understand so much of conversation and convert those conversations from voice to text and convert and understand and go through the text and understand the sentiment behind that text, whether the customer is angry, whether the customer is happy, whether it's positive sentiment, negative sentiment, that is sentiment analytics. Finally, thinking and learning is your visualization. Visualization is nothing but business intelligence. You must have heard of what called business intelligence, analytics, machine learning, big data. All of them are set of technologies that goes by learning from the past and analyzing the data from multiple dimensions. Finally, execution. That is what is RPA. RPA is doing this things what you are doing in a repetitive manner, faster, better, cheaper, and there are low code platforms as well. Again, same thing. Okay, the same document. Our focus for this session for 5 days is only RPA. Even there, we said it will take at least 3 months to do a decent job in terms of learning. But this is just an awareness session. We are doing it for 5 days, 5 hours. Correct? So those so now you now got a connection between hyperautomation and RPA, right? Hyperautomation is an umbrella set of technologies which mimics for human abilities to support a white collared or a knowledge worker. Within that, our focus is only on RPA. As I said, RPA is a short form for robotic process automation. Okay, what can software robots do, RPA tools do? It can technically do anything what you do with your keyboard and a mouse. Any activity, what you do with your keyboard and a mouse, okay, your robot can do 10 times faster and 50% cheaper than you. So that is where the challenge comes in. That is where we have to understand that skill, because very soon, in the next year and a half, 2 years, you will have to coexist with these robots sitting next to you and doing those jobs faster than you. There is no escape from this. So you have to learn this. So it can do anything. It can log into any application. It can copy and paste data from any, suppose 100 sources, you copy paste data into one Excel sheet. If you are trying to do that, probably take 2 hours to do that. It will do in 2 minutes. It can extract and process structured and semi-structured and unstructured content like your PDF, like your image, all those things it can extract. It can move files around. It can read, write into databases. It can make calculations. More importantly, it can scrape data from web. Suppose there are 15 websites. You have to navigate through those 15 websites, extract information, put it in an Excel sheet. How? It's not going to be an easy job to do it manually. I'll give you a classic example. Suppose you want to capture a new model of Samsung phone. There are about 10 sites which are offering like Amazon, Flipkart, and others. You want to go to each of these sites, go click on Samsung, click on a model, then you see the price, you take that information, type it out in an Excel sheet, then you go to Flipkart, you go do the same thing, then you go to something else, you do the same thing, then you go to something in Reliance, then you go to Tata, Click, and this and that. You do all those things for 10 sites. It will take about 4 hours for you to compile all those information in an Excel sheet, do a comparison, find out which is the lowest price. Here, instead, you ask a robot will log into, you write a logic, robot will log into 10 files, 10 applications, go navigate, extract that information from this, come out, go to the other one, navigate, extract the information from Click, navigate, go navigate to Flipkart, put that information, extract that information from Flipkart. It will give it to you in 5 minutes. Where is 4 hours? Where is 5 minutes or 10 minutes? It will give you compile that in an Excel sheet. It will calculate. It will give you which is the lowest. It will tell you, boss, please go this model between this and this date. They have an offer. You go and buy from here. This is what you are going to see in the next 3 days. I mean, in this 5 days, this is the maximum we can teach you because, as I said, it will take a lot of time. So what we are trying to do is we are trying to show you web automation, a small piece of web automation, which is to scrape data from web or put data into web. Like you scrape data into web, you can navigate through multiple screens, enter. We saw that data entry work, right, in the form in the video. Likewise, you can log into anything, navigate into any of those applications, and put the data in. You can scrape the data out. You can put the data in. Okay. This is what software robots can do. 93% of organizations say automation kicks off their digital transformation. Everybody is on digital transformation. 9 out of 10 companies are implementing RPA. If you take 10 large companies, 9 of them are implementing RPA. So there is no other choice but to learn this area. With this, I completed why hyperautomation. What is hyperautomation? Within hyperautomation, what is RPA? Okay, we are going to teach you on a product called UiPath, and we are going to do only web automation in UiPath. So this is the plan for next 5 days. Day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5. Day 1 is what I have done. I have completed why hyperautomation, introduction to hyperautomation, introduction to RPA. I have done this today. Tomorrow again I will take the session. I will talk about career options in hyperautomation. What kind of companies hire in hyperautomation? Who are the people coming? What kind of salaries you should expect from? And all those kind of stuff. Then I will jump into UiPath. It's not enough if you understand the concept alone. Organizations are going to look for people with the product knowledge in that particular technology area. It's not enough if you know machine learning. You need to know either Azure ML or AWS ML or Google ML. You need to know that. Similarly, UiPath is a market leader. Like Oracle is a market leader in database, Microsoft is a market leader when it comes to Office, email, and stuff like that, Outlook and stuff like that. UiPath is a market leader when it comes to RPA. So I'll do an introduction to UiPath. Day 3, 4, 5 will be handled by my colleague Ashwin. He is a UiPath expert. He is going to, then day 2 itself, I'll give you a link. You will have to download that software into your machine. We'll also give you tomorrow, you will get a link in your WhatsApp. Please log into your machine, log into WhatsApp to your machine, or we'll send a mail to you. Log into that, download it into your machine, and we'll also give you an installation guide, an instruction to how to do the installation. Please install in your machine. So by tomorrow evening, complete the installation itself. Once you have done the installation, the day 3 onwards, okay, you will have UiPath Studio, which actually in the product there will be a live sessions on the product itself, which Ashwin will handle. That will be directly into the product in UiPath. Okay. Then the day 4 he will talk about a web automation project, and day 5 will have a deployment of the project. He will do a small quiz and stuff like that. See, there is an attendance form. After this, I think you must have received a link again where you have to log in and enter your attendance. So whoever has attended this, please fill in that form. What I understand from task is you will get a certificate only if you complete minimum 4 out of these 5 classes. You will get the completion certificate uh, from task. So please do not miss out on this. There is an attendance form, okay, which has been sent to you. Okay, please double click on that and fill that. There is also another form which we have given a link where you can put in your doubts. If you have any doubts in that, please put in that, because we are on a YouTube link, YouTube live, and we are on a short. It's a short course. I don't have time to take these questions live for you. But if you put that question in that form and send it across, tomorrow during the session or after the session, I'll try to answer, or we will try to send an answer by the email, or we'll record those answers and send it across to you. We'll find some ways to reach out an answer for you, but put your questions in that form. Okay. So this is what we have for the day. Whatever questions you have, please use the form to fill it for the day. So we have sort of completed for the day today, and tomorrow we'll have the same class between 6 p.m. and 7 p.m. Tomorrow's link, YouTube link, you will get probably the same way like today, about 30 minutes, 40 minutes, or 1 hour before your session commences. Please come back again. It will be very, very interesting tomorrow, because you will realize what kind of career opportunities are there, how hot this technology is, who will join, who can join, and all this kind of stuff. Okay. And we'll also give an overview of UiPath. Please spend these 5 days, and definitely this will open up a great career opportunity for you. With this, let's wrap up for the day. Thank you very much.